I believe that creativity plays a very important role in life. Creativity is what makes a difference in this world. Creativity is literally everything. To the person who invented cars, bikes, movies, computers, and so on. It can literally be anything. And because I felt to go talk about creative stuff, I would like to dip my toes into the subject stop motion. Whether it's from a movie, a video game, and even YouTube videos. And because I am 100% in for creativity, I decided to have my own animating figure that you see right here. I know that this is just a one frame animation guy who is also drawn very simple, but just to be clear, I'm not good at drawing. And I can't afford myself to run an animator, so yeah. Now, whether you're not a fan of animation or you are, I mean, you have definitely seen an animation before. It is funny to think when we saw an animation from a character in a game or a movie as a kid, we were just enjoying the content that was shown on the screen and we didn't really care about how they were made. It's actually crazy to see how much time people put in these animations. And most of the times we just take these animations for granted because an animation we see, for example, like 4 seconds, is mostly an animation that is made by a huge company who worked hours and hours or maybe even days on a single episode. And mostly the episode was just for about 20 minutes. So I decided to dig down more deeper in the world of animation plus stop motion. So that also you guys who aren't really that familiar with how the working wheels are done in the era of stop motion, we gotta start from the exact beginning. So believe it or not, but almost anything of an animation you see in a video or a movie are just photos that play back really fast, what makes it look like we have a moving character. Now, if you cannot really follow that good what I'm trying to explain here, then that kind of explains why I didn't manage to finish high school. Maybe this is a better way to explain how stop motion in movies work. We got a little man, who I made out of clay. I know, it's an artwork. Now, let's say I want to make this little man wave. Sadly, we can't force little man to wave because it's a lifeless object. Instead, we want to take a picture. Instead, we want to take a picture of the little man, and now we move the arm little man and take another picture again. And we repeat that progress multiple times until you have enough pictures so we can continue to the next step. Now that we took all of our pictures, you want to take all the pictures and let it play really fast after each other. And there you go, here's our little stop motion that we made. And now you know how stop motion works. And now the thing what I've shown you is the basic thing of how stop motion works. And the cool thing to notice is even you use a different type of material or drawing, everything has the same method on how to make a proper animation. As we are almost living in the future where we kind of already have flying cars and Elon Musk with his weird sex robots that he sells for like $20,000 to $30,000. Also, animation is really improving by programs where you could do so much more cooler stuff, and there even exists an animation program who does the in-between animation for you, like Akani. But if you would need to discuss now how an animation and stop motion were made back in the days where computers weren't even a thing, and Bob Ross making these painting videos day by day, you'll probably be wondering how animations and stop motions were made back in the days when stop motion was invented in like, what the fuck, the 1800s. Now I know that cameras were already invented in the same time. The only difference is that the technique we use now for creating stop motion and animation, back in the days when computers just became a thing, they had a very different style and technique for making animations. Everything was literally hand drawn on different types of papers that they also called cells. And that's what we like to call cell animation. Cell animation was mostly popular all the way back in 1930. It was by then the technique they used for making animations, without needing to use a program like Akani, Krita, or whatever the hell they use for making animations. What the fuck, they also use Blender? Cell animation is sort of how we made animations now, but it was a bit more different and a bit more difficult. Cells are just transparent sheets on which character or objects are drawn and layered over static backgrounds to create movement, without having to redraw the whole scene again. Cell animation also stood popular for being one of the most time-consuming animating methods that existed out there. If companies would have made a movie fully done with cell animation, it could roughly take about 5 years for the movie to be fully done. Cell animation has been mostly used for older animations such like Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, no not that Winnie the Pooh, Jesus Christ, Tom and Jerry, Pink Panther and so on. Not only was cell animation what they used for making my childhood, they even used this method for a game that is called Cuphead. It took them roundly about 7 years for making Cuphead, but because of the cell animation, the game looks absolutely fantastic. Also, did you know that this game is one of the most frustrating games out there that really wants me to make my desk smash into little bits? Now I do have to say that cell animation is a very creative way, so if I ever see an artist that works with the method of cell animation, you get a thumbs up from me. It is a smart method, it is creative, and it looks very beautiful. Now for the people who aren't that fan of animation and stop motion, I mean, you don't have to be obsessed with this kind of style, but you should at least appreciate what the companies do for making these kinds of stuff. I'm not really an anime guy, for example, and I know that lots of you guys would absolutely hate me for saying this. Now anime has definitely some cool series and art as well, although I do have to say that there also exists a side of anime which is just weird and makes me want to scratch my eyes. Like, who spends their time making this? Who even spends their time watching this? I mean, to be fair, anime does have some shows that are absolutely fantastic. For example, I am a huge fan of the animes One Punch Man and Dragon Ball. But besides from that, I don't really have that much with anime himself. Now, if this for some reason inspires you or motivates you for trying to make your very own animation, I highly recommend it. It is an amazing way to challenge your creativity, and even you won't be able to make stuff like this, who knows, maybe you'll actually like it, and even though it takes a lot of time, technically you don't need to have lots of money or a huge company in order to make an animation show. So I'll say give it a try. I tried it, and now I will always bother to take up a pencil and knowing that I will be making some absolute horseshit. Now there are 2 more topics that I wanted to talk about, but one of the topics was talking about how AI sort of ruins the animations for us because the future for AI animation is really shit. The only reason I'm not doing it is because there already exists a fantastic YouTuber out there called Noodle who already made a video about this topic, and my video is really inspired by him. So if you are interested in that topic, I recommend you watching this video. It's pretty good. Now the other topic is about showing animation in a different form of style. Yeah, believe it or not, but there exist other ways to show your animation work without needing it to turn it into a show or a video. One of those things, for example, is something like flip animation. Now, I don't know if that is a real thing, but that's what I like to call it for now. All what you gotta do for this is take a post-it folder, and what you want to do is draw a circle at the very beginning of the paper. Then we want to flip to the next page. There we draw the ball again, but a little further. It is a little the same as what I did before, but instead that we take pictures of every frame, we sort of draw on the pictures themselves. And if we flip the note really fast, we have a little bouncing animation. It looks awful. Now, another form of animation is a zeotype animation, and I know that's a type of word you don't hear every day. Let me explain what a zeotype is based on what I know. One thing we need is a round table, and with that we need something about 16 different characters that have their own kind of pose. If we put all of the characters' poses around the table, we give the little table a spin, and now it looks like these characters are moving. Now, to figure out how you make the table spin, that is something to figure out for yourself. But this style is very common and is mostly used as art, and it's also something you can see in those types of art museums. And damn does it look sick. So just remember from now on, if you walk into a movie theater and watch an animation movie, even if you don't like it, the creativity the companies put in these shows are insane. So if the movie is done, even if it wasn't your favorite, you should give it a little applause as a sign of appreciation. And if the rest don't clap, well, that's their problem.